You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Rock crushes Harry's wife. The Mail Online reports in an article by Melissa Koenig, "That's not racist, because even black people want to know how brown the baby going to be." Chris Rock slams Harry's wife for telling Oprah royal family was racist and says it was just some in-law shit. Comedian Chris Rock slammed Harry's wife in his new stand-up special, Saturday Night, for her now infamous interview with Oprah Winfrey. Harry's wife, 41, told Winfrey last year how she felt isolated from other members of the royal family, claiming they were being racist against her, revision of history, lie, pity play, and even sharing a story about how one senior member of the family questioned how dark-skinned her baby would be. But in his live stand-up show, Selective Outrage, Rock berated the Duchess of Sussex for her claims of racism, saying she was instead just dealing with internal family drama, and noting that she won the light-skinned lottery. He also claimed that even black people want to know how brown her child would be. It was the second time in just 1 month that Harry's wife was publicly mocked on television for claiming she is a victim, after a recent South Park episode depicted the Duchess travelling around the world complaining about her lack of privacy. Pausing there, so we have Chris Rock criticising what she had to say, demonstrating that he didn't regard it as racism, and indeed we all know that it wasn't. Indeed, Harry's wife has sought to row back from that by saying, no, they weren't being racist. Because, of course, she faces whatever way she needs to face as a consequence of what her narcissism dictates. And in such circumstances, that enables her to be more effective with regard to the assertion of control, because she can face whatever way she wants at this point and then do a 180 in the next moment and doesn't see that it's a problem. Of course, she ends up kicking the can down the road because of her level of prominence and infamy. It means that, as I've mentioned before, there's an army of people that scrutinise what she says and does to point out where she contradicts herself. And also it means that she's going to fall prey to other prominent individuals, such as Chris Rock, taking the Michael out of her further. His comments are, of course, challenge fuel. He's talking about her, which is good, but the fact that he's saying that what she's done is incorrect and unnecessary threatens her sense of control. And this keeps happening, and it will keep happening. More and more people recognise, not necessarily that she's a narcissist, although they should do, but they recognise that she basically talks a lot of nonsense, she's a professional victim, and she repeatedly contradicts herself. The article continues. During his 2.5-hour stand-up special, Rock went on a rant about people who were trying to portray themselves as victims when he mentioned Harry's wife. Like, who is this girl, Harry's wife? Seems like a nice lady just complaining, he began. Like, didn't she hit the light-skinned lottery? Rock then took aim at comments she made during a sit-down interview with Oprah last year. They're so racist, Rock mocked the Duchess, noting some of that shit went through was not racism. It was just some in-law shit. Sometimes it's just some in-law shit because she's complaining. I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about? Oprah, they're so racist they wanted to know how brown the baby was going to be. He again mocked Harry's wife. I'm like, that's not racist, because even black people want to know how brown the baby going to be. Shit, we check behind the ears. That's a scientific test, because you've got to know what kind of black child you're going to get, he joked, comparing black skin on a scale from basketball stars Stephen Curry to Draymond Green. Still, he insisted, I know what she's going through. I know what Harry's wife's going through. I know her dilemma. Black girl trying to be accepted by her white in-laws. Oh, it's hard. It's so hard. It's very hard. But it ain't as hard as a white girl trying to be accepted by her black in-laws. Now that shit is really hard. Harry's wife, I know the dilemma. I'm like, if you black and you wanted to be accepted by your white in-laws, then you need to marry a Kardashian because they accept everybody. It remains unclear whether the Sussexes will respond to Rock's jokes after previously denying that they would sue the creators of South Park for their portrayal in a recent episode. The controversial South Park episode, titled The Worldwide Privacy Tour, mocks the royal couple's demands for privacy while on a publicity blitz for the prince's autobiography, Wah, a dig at Harry's recent memoir, Wah. It is filled with swipes at the Sussexes, with main character Stan Marsh branding their cartoon equivalents the dumb prince and his stupid wife, while Cal Brolowski complains about the private jet parked outside their home. After the show aired, reports suggested Harry's wife was upset and overwhelmed by the couple's less than flattering portrayal, pity play, and one royal commentator even claimed the Sussexes' lawyers were casting an eye over the animated series. However, a spokesperson for Harry and his wife have since slammed speculation they are planning to sue over the satirical episode, blasting the rumours as boring and baseless in a statement given to Newsweek. The blunt statement did not address claims the couple's lawyers will be monitoring the show to see whether South Park's creators launch any fresh attacks on the pair in the future. Similarly, no comment was made in response to claims Harry's wife had been left upset and overwhelmed by the couple's depiction in the episode. Of course, what this does is it gives the Daily Mail an opportunity to highlight what Chris Rock is saying, which results in further mocking of Harry's wife, but it also provides them with a further opportunity to bring up South Park, and thus that is resurrected and repeated and shows the contradictions of the response of Harry's wife's behaviour, which is similar to that in relation to the Frogmore slap, whereby, first of all, they were apparently stunned and they were crushed by this activity, and then they were actually okay with it. What do people below the line say? Is there any sympathy to be found for Harry and Harry's wife? My view is, well said, Chris Rock. Jackson, well said. Dean Cabon, the Harry and Harry's wife privacy tours seem to be turning into a comedy tour. Nearly Silver, the people with the most heartwarming, magical, magnetic personalities are those that can laugh at themselves. Well, of course, we all know Harry's wife can't do that. Trixie P. He's right. My nieces are mixed race, and we discussed if they would be like Mum or Dad's family, just like you would say for any child, will they have blue eyes, red hair, etc. Jock the Rock, well said. CCM Toronto, he is funny. Finally, a comedian doesn't have to resort to vulgarity, instead uses his wits. Galal Pop, hopefully the fight back has started. They can dish it out, but they can't take it. Frankie, well said. York 49. Well said, Chris. The difference is, though, you can get away with saying it whilst many others cannot. Long line. Thank you, Chris. People discuss all sorts of things. Will they be tall, what colour, hair, eyes, etc. It's natural. Wisconsin Cheese. Amen. Highland Warrior 1. Thank you for your clarity. Harry's wife makes some mountains out of molehills. Another, I agree entirely. My white nephew is married to an Indian woman, and they were the ones speculating about what colour their babies would be. So, once again, the lie that Harry's wife told, which is now coming on for 2 years old, is resurrected and thrown in her face. Once again, South Park is brought up and thrown in her face, and we have Chris Rock taking the piss out of her. She has no respect, because she's never earned it. She has no respect because people see her for what she is, a liar who revises history and repeatedly plays the victim. And because of her status of narcissist, all her chickens, whether they be rescue ones or authentic, are coming back to roost as a consequence of her behaviour before. And it's going to speed up this downward spiral as the ship continues to sink. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.